Tip number 2, be filled with the Spirit.
Okay, this one is actually pretty easy because I just bought 6 cases of Spirit on Amazon during Black Friday. Got a killer deal, too. Although I'm not sure I bought enough to fill me completely. But I also bought a full Armor of God kit. I hope this one fits right. The last one was a little tight in the groin area. But the Spirit and the armor together should have me hearing God's voice like nobody's business. Very exciting.
Galatians chapter 6, verses 7 to 8. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked.
Wait, what? God is not mocked? Well, then what have I been doing here the last 17 years? I'm sorry, I'm going to have to beg to differ. And my people love it when I beg.
For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. For he who sows to his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption, but he who sows to the Spirit will of the Spirit reap everlasting life.
Okay, I don't sow either the plant kind or the fabric and string thing. And I'm not really interested in everlasting life. That just sounds exhausting. I mean, I can't imagine having to spend 20 minutes a day looking for my reading glasses or my keys for forever. Really? Just kill me now. Well, not right now. Not exactly right this second. Just give me another 40 years. 40 good years, though, like 40 years where I don't have to sow anything.
In this passage, Paul is explaining to the Galatian church that there are consequences to certain actions.
It's been quite a while since I read Galatians, but I think it says quite a bit about the people converting to Christianity in that day that they had to have someone explain consequences to them. I learned about consequences when I was 5 years old and I got caught playing doctor with the little girl down the street. I got the belt for that. Bare bottom. It's a true story. That's actually not funny, is it? That's kind of child abuse. But boy, I gotta talk to my therapist about that.
Bad actions, or sowing seeds of the flesh and sin, will lead to corruption, whereas good actions, or sowing seeds of the Spirit, will result in everlasting life.
Initially, this was very upsetting for me because I bought the 6 cases of Spirit, but I didn't know that you had to buy seeds of the Spirit as well and then plant them. I don't even know where to get seeds of the Spirit. And again, I'm not a sower. Then I realized you only have to do that if you want life everlasting, which I don't. So, whew.
John the Baptist says this perfectly in John chapter 3, verse 30. He, the Christ, must increase, but I must decrease.
He definitely decreased by exactly 1 head, the useless one.
You see, John the Baptist was someone who understood that he needed more of God in his life and less of himself.
That's how John became headless. Or is it bodiless? Bodiless sounds like you're just using the wrong shampoo.
So one thing that would help you discern between God's voice and your voice is to add more of God into your life.
Okay, now I'm starting to think that this is just some kind of multi-level marketing scheme. I bought the Spirit, but then I also needed the seeds of the Spirit, and now I need more God? What's that going to cost me? And isn't that obvious? I mean, I'm trying to hear God's voice over my own. I was hoping this video would just give me some easy way to turn up the volume.
Maybe you read the Bible more.
Can you come back in just a few minutes? I'm just reading about how the Danites took the city of Laish from a peaceful and secure people. They took it by the sword, of course, burned the city down and then rebuilt it, but with the approval of their priest. It's kind of an American tale when you think about it, but set thousands of years ago.
Or you take your prayer time more seriously.
There is absolutely no way I can take my prayer time more seriously. I have yet to make even a single witty remark to God. Although I did make a pun once. It was kind of accidental, though, and I felt terrible about it. I know God's not the punny type. Uh-oh.
Or maybe you spend more time with your Christian friends, or you fast.
Maybe you spend time with your Christian friends fasting. That way you can all be miserable together.
Either way, there are benefits to sowing seeds of the Spirit, and I found that God's voice tends to be more clear when I am regularly reading, consistently praying, and am surrounded by people who also love God.
I find that God's voice tends to be more clear when you boost the mid frequencies a bit, maybe from 1 to 4K. I also like to add a bit of compression because sometimes he can be really loud, right? Then I add some tape saturation to warm things up a bit, especially after you've boosted those mid frequencies. I don't know anyone who loves God or has any kind of actual relationship with him, but I'll keep looking. So that's part 2 of this 1-part series. In part -3/4, we'll look at what should have been in part 3. Until then, I'm me. Thanks for watching.